Hi, welcome to this tutorial and I'll be teaching you how to set up a Ethernet connection between your laptop, computer and de25 nano FPGA. So to be specific, I'll be not directly connecting to the FPGA. Instead, I'll be using the hard processor system, the ARM chip inside the de25 nano to set up the Ethernet communication. By default, the Ethernet port, the Ethernet interface is connected to the hard processor system. So instead of creating very complicated digital like circuits to handle Ethernet communication, we can just use the hard processor system to run like a C program and handle the Ethernet communication. So you might be wondering like what's the purpose of this, right? So when we want to like transfer a lot of data between the PGA board and the computer, it's very difficult to like send data through like UART, right? So it's much easier and very high, we have very high bandwidth if we use the Ethernet connections. So it will be very useful if you are like doing like video processing or like machine learning if you want to like send a large data sets from your computer. But like if you are doing that, you need to have like other additional like memory access programs as well. So I won't be doing that here. All right. So let me explain what I'll hope to accomplish through this tutorial. So first I will like set up the Ethernet connections between the laptop and the Ethernet board, FPGA board, my bad, and like setting up the IP addresses and pinging the FPGA board and doing all that. And finally I will like create a simple UDP server and I'll run it on the FPGA board, and I'll create like a small script on my laptop to send like UDP packets to the FPGA board to see if you can like properly receive it at the FPGA board. So that's what I hope to accomplish by this tutorial and hope you can follow along. Thank you so much.
Okay, first let's make sure that our FPGA board is connected to our laptop through Ethernet. Okay. And we'll connect the USB-C cable as well so we can have a terminal. We can view the terminal through PuTTY. So I'll connect it here. And finally we'll give power to the board. Alright.
All right, now that we have an Ethernet connection, next we'll try to set up the terminal through PuTTY. I won't make a like an in-depth tutorial because the GE25 Nano's guide has like a thorough explanation of how to set up a terminal through PuTTY, and I think the board comes with an SD card already installed with the Linux distro, so I won't make a video on that, and maybe I'll make a video on the future. No plans right now. Okay, first of all, let's make sure to power on our FPGA board, and then we have to go to device manager. In device manager, we need to scroll down to COM ports, and as you can see there's a whole bunch of COM ports here. Which one belongs to ours? So to check that, we quickly remove the USB connection in our laptop to the board, and as you can see the ports 11 and 12 disappeared. So if we connect it back in, 11 and 12 will reappear. So let's choose, I think it's COM port 11, so let's connect to that. Alright, let's open up PuTTY and set up a serial connection on port 11, and the speed should be 115,200. Alright, so now you'll get this screen in PuTTY. I think if you press enter it should open up. There you go. So for the localhost login we'll enter the username, it's Terasic, and the password is 123. It's the same for all DE25 Nano boards. I think you can change it in some way, but by default it's this. So if you changed your username and password, then make sure to enter those. Okay, now so we have to make sure that our Ethernet connection has a proper network addressing scheme, right? So by that means we have to set up an IP address on our FPGA board and also on our laptop. On our laptop, because by default the Ethernet interface does not have like a static IP or anything. If we connect our Ethernet port into a router, then through DHCP it will get a IP address. But since we are not doing that, we are connecting it to another device, we have to assign it statically. Alright, let's see how we can do that. First, we have to open up Windows R, and then we have to enter ncpa.cpl. Okay, and here you have to identify your Ethernet connection. So it's here, you click on it, or you can right click and go to properties, and here if you scroll down you'll find Internet Protocol version 4. Click on that, make sure it's checked, and go to properties, and here you select the option use the following IP address, and here you can give your address, and you have to make sure that it does not belong to the same subnet as your Wi-Fi or any other network that you're using, because then it might cause an issue when our computer's operating system tries to send packets to a certain interface. If it's in the same subnet, it will try to use Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet. So if our Ethernet connection is in a different what I mean is my Wi-Fi is in 192.168.8, right? And that dot whatever here. So that if I have my Ethernet port have that same subnet, the Windows does not know which interface to use, and it will try to use Wi-Fi sometimes. So we don't want that, so let's use a different subnet entirely. So I'll use 10.10.10.150. So slash 24 subnet. This is for the laptop, and 10.10.10.100 for the board. Okay, so you have to enter that here. So this is for the laptop, so it's 10.10.10.50, and the subnet mask for a slash 24 subnet is 255 255 255. Okay, so now you hit enter, hit OK, and close, and that should be it. You can verify that by opening up CMD and typing ipconfig. So if you go to Ethernet, so Ethernet adapter Ethernet IPv4 address and subnet mask is it's correctly entered. Alright, now we have to go to the FPGA board and set up the IP address for that interface. Alright, now to set up the IP address of the FPGA board, we have to run a script on the board that every time the OS starts up, it will run this script and set up the IP address. First, let's type the command sudo asking me for an editor. We'll select nano, and let's go all the way to the bottom, and let's enter the following command. So at reboot sbin slash IP address flush deb at 0 and sbin slash IP address add 10.10.10.100 slash 24 deb at 0 and slash sbin slash IP link set dev at 0 up. So that should be it. Let's write it out. Alright, save it and let's exit. So now let's reboot. So I'll I'll shut down the FPGA board and turn it on again. Alright, let's log in. And now All right, there you go. Now we have successfully set up the IP address in the FPGA board. Now we can confirm whether it's working by opening up a terminal on Windows. So, and let's ping. All right, looks good. So now we have successfully set up an Ethernet connection between the laptop and the FPGA board. And on the next video, let's type up a simple UDP server and run it on the FPGA board to see if UDP packets can travel to and from the FPGA board. All right, see you there.